Hello and welcome to this week's Wheelie Geek Chat. As always, I'm joined by Shadow, and let me just take you off of mute. There we go. Now everyone can hear you.
So,
Okay, so um, we have about three or four things that we can talk about, um, and I'm gonna hand it over straight to you because we're gonna start with your thing as to why we weren't here last week. It's partly my fault because I wasn't feeling up to it, but also I know you were watching Eurovision, so tell me about that.
I was, yes. So this year's Eurovision was majorly different in many ways to like Eurovision's past, and well, at least the Eurovision is the last 10 years or so. Mainly, there's many things that made it completely different, but I'll start off with the acts. Now, usually with Eurovision, there's lots of like crazy, silly sort of acts, like people like, wearing weird things or some totally out there sort of music.
Okay?
But this year, it was fairly normal. Things were like there's no like overly outrageous stuff. There was obviously different music styles. There
Yeah.
was rap, there was rap sort of stuff. There was like a polka type country hoedown type um art act. There was a lot of ballads, and there was one or two rock things, and then there was like a punk rock type thing as well. But in terms of like outrageously crazy out there stuff, there was nothing of that this year. It was all normal, sensible stuff, which actually I, I don't I kind of was missing that, but actually it made it all really enjoyable. And what I tend to do is like we watch as a family and we score each act out of 12. And then at the end of the 25 acts, whichever act has got the highest points, combined points from us all scoring the acts, that's the one we vote for. And coincidentally, this year it was Ukraine who we voted for. And this year, so last few years, they've done the voting different because of Eurovision past. What they usually do is have the when they go from country to country. It
Yeah.
was the score was combined between the jury vote and the public vote, the tele vote, and then whoever comes out top is the winner. Now they're doing it differently. So when they go to country, it's just the jury vote. That's the only results you get until they've gone to all 40 countries.
Right.
And after they've gone to all 40 countries, it's then you get the public televote, and then all things can change, and it did. It completely changed everything once we got to the public vote.
All I
So
know is the UK came second to Ukraine coming first overall. Um, would you say that the
yes,
vote,
so
whilst it's being changed to reflect how we've changed as a society by adding in this new wave voting, would you say that it's still somewhat political?
um, this yeah, it's kind of political, I would say, but this year our act was Sam Ryder. So for those who don't know who Sam Ryder is, he's like one of the biggest creators on TikTok. He's got 12 million followers and over 100 million likes. So he's a big deal.
Is is
Um,
is he the um guy that done the sea shanty for
no,
Fortnite?
I don't, I, he could be. I don't know. I'll Google him right now. Um, Sam Ryder.
It could be somebody else entirely for all
Yeah,
I know.
it's somebody entirely, completely different. It's not him.
Okay,
This is Sam Ryder. If we get a picture, that's Sam Ryder.
okay.
Oh,
Oh,
there we go. That's Sam Ryder for those who want to see who he looks like.
okay.
Anyway, so he's a big deal, and our song this year was called Spaceman, and it wasn't about, and it's actually a play on words sort of thing because it's not a spaceman. He's saying I'm in space, man.
Okay,
So
cool.
he's using man as in, as a expression as opposed to an
Yeah,
object or a thing.
yeah. Very much a northern way of using that for sure.
Yeah. So our song this year was absolutely incredible, and for the first time, the UK, because usually, well, day beforehand, usually the UK's song is very straight down the line.
Mm,
So it's just basically the act on stage singing their songs. They might have some they have lighting effects and stuff like that,
yeah.
but it's just them singing a song. This year, the UK really focused on the set and the overall the way the act was like visualized. So, for example, this year Sam was singing the song inside this little like cage. So he was on this platform. It was like a cage, like a diamond sort of
I have
cage
seen
around
clips
him.
of that. Yeah.
And then the cage near the end opened up, and like visually it was really good, and it made for a very enjoyable performance. But all like when I first um what before I watched the Eurovision, I said this year it's going to be different for us. We're gonna win. We're gonna win, or something like that. Or if we don't win, we'll definitely come second behind Ukraine. That's what I said before the competition started, and nobody believed me because usually the UK comes dead last, like
Yeah.
completely last place, if not last, or maybe second from last or third from last. But the work that Eurovision, the rest of Europe hate us as far as Eurovision goes, and that's why we always come last. However, this year it was like I couldn't believe it, and basically what happened was with the jury vote, we kept getting 12s after 12s, 10s after 10s, and I was like, what? Surely they can't mean the UK is getting 12 points after 12 points. I was in disbelief.
That's why I was
And
asking if you think it's somewhat political because, like the way that the UK has responded to the whole Ukraine situation. Um, I think that although it shouldn't be a factor when it's a music competition, I would say it certainly looks like that's what's had some impact on the
it may
position that we've came, you know?
it may have had some impact, but it wasn't. I think it's mainly because of the fact that Sam Ryder is so famous and so well known.
Right.
And so at the end of the jury vote, so after all 40 countries had declared their jury votes,
Mm-hmm.
the UK were first. Were in first position, and Ukraine I think, were in 12th position or 14th position.
Okay.
Um, and Moldova this was the one I mentioned earlier, was the like the polka type hoedown country sort of act. Um, they were like they were in 20th position, something of that nature. Anyway, when it came to the public vote, all changed, and Moldova got 350 points. So basically, how they do it is it goes from the country in last place, which was Germany, and it work your way backwards up the board until you get to the first place, which was us. So we got
Yep.
our points last.
Mm-hmm.
So we wouldn't know if we won until the end. So Moldova got 350 points, pushing them up to second, and then the Ukraine got 400, I think like 460 votes, something like that,
Mm-hmm.
which then pushed them up to first. And then the UK needed 300 points to win, but we got 180, I think, which put us up to second behind Ukraine and ahead of Moldova.
So there really wasn't that many points in it.
There wasn't, no, there was only about, I think there was only about 120 points between us.
Okay,
So it
cool.
wasn't that much.
Well, whilst you
Um,
were watching that, I was watching Heartstopper.
and tell us about Heartstopper. What's it about? Did you enjoy it?
Have you seen any of it?
I haven't seen a single thing about it. I don't know anything about it.
Okay, this is gonna be really hard. Um, it's really good. Like in terms of the LGBT representation, the characters are actually believable. It's not like how in some shows the um, gay characters are over the top. I mean, some gay people are like that, but
Oh yes, they are. Some really are, you know.
this
And
show
that's
kind of shows the
yeah,
nuances some more. Um, and in a nutshell, it's about a boy who is openly gay, um,
yes,
and a guy who, at the start, we think he's straight, and it's all about him kind of finding himself, for lack of a better term. But also, while that's going on, we've also got, as like a side story, we've got a trans character who,
all
one
right,
moment while I get the name of the actress, um, the character's name is Elle, and she's played by Jasmine Finney, and
okay,
um, I just think she did a fantastic job. Um, Also, on the cast we have Olivier Coleman, who I'm pretty sure you'll know who she is.
yeah, I know who Olivia Coleman is. Yeah,
Um, and the only other one that I think you might have heard of is Kit Connor, who plays the um, well, one of the two main characters who is kind of trying to find himself. And I think you'll have heard of him because he played a young Elton in Rocketman. That
All right. Okay. Cool. Yeah.
that was his first role. Um, so like to have that be his first role and then go more or less straight into this. Like
Uh huh.
how many years ago was Rocket Man? Like um,
Not that long ago, was it? 2018,
18, yeah. So
I think.
that's really not much time. So like for them to have that, um,
2019.
oh, 2019. So even less time than what we thought. Um, but
And like for me, like over the last like 2020 and 2021, and it didn't didn't it's like it didn't exist.
yeah, I know
So
that.
that's why time feels so strange
Yeah.
between like 2019 and now.
So we have the gay representation in the form of
Yeah.
Charlie and the bisexual representation in the form of Nick, who
Uh
is
huh.
Kit and Joe Locke, respectively. Um, the worst character in the show is called Ben Hope, who is the sort of love interest at the start of the first episode. Um, and also, there's a character called Harry, who is just like, you know how when people play sports and it's all like, oh, banter, banter, banter kind of thing, and it's like they're being homophobic, but
Yes.
they're like hiding behind the oh, it's only banter kind of thing, which I absolutely hate. Um,
Yeah.
like um, that is a major thing in this. Um,
So
Go on.
I was just going to say that you've got experience of that.
Yeah, I do, and I'm not going
I
to be
don't want to
dwelling
name.
on it any more than that.
No. Yeah, we don't want to name names or anything like that because I don't want to make things even harder for you.
Well, I just don't want this to be a really negative show. I
Yeah.
like Heartstopper. I wanna what I say kind of tackles some serious issues. It does keep
Yeah.
it fairly optimistic and hopeful. Um, I would highly recommend watching the Netflix show. They do have two more seasons confirmed, which is
Uh-huh.
fantastic. I watched the first series twice last weekend. I literally watched it in full on the Saturday and then watched it in full again on the Sunday. It was that good. I mean, each episode is like half an hour, so
All
um,
right. Yeah.
within 4 hours I was done. You know, and you do go through the emotions. You really do. It's very much kind of up and down, but oh my god, it's so good.
See, for me, I can't. I see. For me, I can't binge watch things.
That's fine. You can watch
Yeah.
any way that you want, but trust me, you will not
Yeah. There's
want
that.
to wait too long between episodes.
Yeah. You see, for me, it's like if I binge watch it, then that means like I've got rid of all the episodes in like one day, and that means that I have to wait a whole year for another set of episodes.
Yeah,
Whereas if I spread it out, it lasts longer.
this is true. Um, and to be honest with you,
Yeah.
because I've watched them like so many times now, I feel as though I know the plot inside out and back to front. So I've ordered the book series, which is four volumes as of right now of just
Uh-huh.
Heartstopper, but there is other books that the author has done, um,
Uh-huh.
which is Alice Osman. She also does the artwork for the books as well, because it the Heartstopper books
Uh-huh.
are graphic novels, and some of the other books, which have some characters that are in Heartstopper as well, which are just like um, normal books, for lack of a better term, like where you would just read them. So I'm not sure how easy it would be for you to read the graphic novel ones, but it's sounding like from volume 3 onwards is going to be in the next series. So there's a whole load
Mm-hmm.
of stuff that's been changed from what we have in the show and what is in the first two volumes of the books. So I'm of course wanting to read those to see the differences, but also to get an idea of what's to come in the next two seasons of the show. And obviously because the cast is supposed to be like school age, but like they're 18, so it's like they're like, in the later years of school. Um, they have to do these seasons more or less back to back to make sure that everyone kind of looks but believable, you know.
Uh-huh.
So it's looking like we're gonna get season two at some point in next next year. So probably like the middle of 2023, which would be awesome. I would highly recommend the show though. So like, even if you do an episode per day, you're still gonna be done within 8 days because it's only eight episodes. But
Mm-hmm.
you are gonna wanna know what happens. Like I've really tried to not give spoilers too much. Um, there is representation for gay people, bi people, lesbians, trans. Like it more or less covers everybody. Um, and Alice Osman has said that in future seasons she does want to tackle me- mental health, and that's kind of been set up with just a few lines in um, season one to do with
Uh-huh.
Charlie, who um, this is kind of a spoiler, I think, but I really can't get away from saying it. Um, it's heavily implied that he has an eating disorder, um, and
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be interesting to see how she tackles that whilst keeping it as hopeful as she has with season one, or she might decide to just go completely the opposite way for all I know and have it be all doom and gloom, which I really don't want because every show seems to be like that, and I really like the positive kind of vibes that this show has, and I don't want it to lose that.
Hopefully it won't then.
Okay, so yeah, that's everything that I can think to say about this. Um, I'm actually surprised that you haven't seen this or heard of it.
No, I haven't. No, I haven't. Like only till you mentioned it, but I haven't like knew anything about it before.
Give it a watch. Like
I'll do that.
as soon as we get off here, that's what you have to do.
Well. I'll do it like tomorrow or something like that. But yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so the next thing that you wanted to talk about
Well, I've got
was
two things actually.
okay.
Uh, so technically I've got three things, but we'll get onto that later on. I was going to touch back onto Owl House. So remember, like a few while ago,
Mm-hmm.
I talked about Owl House, and I mentioned how there was like a subtle reference to the LGBTQ plus community about like lesbian relationships.
Yeah.
Well, I've now into the sixth episode of coming on to actually up to the seventh episode. Seventh episode, uh, maybe sixth or seventh episode of Owl House on season two, and it's now much more than just subtle. It's pretty plainly obvious that um, the two characters, this what's their name? That's terrible. Like Amity is the love interest, and Loose and Amity. I think it is. Is it Loose and Amity? Just check.
I have no idea.
Amity. Oh, house. Let's have a look. Picture images. Yes. So Amity is the love interest, and you can tell they like each other is because like they go seeking each other's company, and like when they notice something, like they say something to each other, sometimes their cheeks get red.
That's adorable.
Yeah, so it's really obvious that they two are in love with each other, and even the characters even make reference saying things like "Are you looking for Amity?" like stuff like that, and it's it's just really cute in the way it's done. And I'm really sad that Disney's cancelled it. Um, so we're only going to get apparently there's going to be a third season, but it's got no more after the third season, and the third season has only got 3 or 4 episodes, but the episodes are 45 minutes long. So like a normal episode is 22 minutes. So it's kind of like 6 episodes if you look at it another way, six
Yeah.
to eight episodes,
Well, that
just to
kind of
tie things
sucks.
up. I know, because it's actually really good because obviously it started with um, Luca, and then Owl House came along, and then obviously Turning Red has LGBTQ plus representation as well. And it's getting better with Disney. It really is. But
See, I don't think it
obviously,
is because you did say about the LGBT representation in Turning Red, and I didn't pick up on that whatsoever when I watched
well,
it.
you didn't, you didn't pick up that Tyler's gay.
No.
Well, no, well, he is. He's
Okay.
obviously gay.
I'll take your word for it.
Like, for example, like he's really into boy bands,
Bit of a
and
stereotype,
he's.
but okay.
I know it is, but
That's kind
it
of
is
what
a
I mean,
stereotype.
though. Like they are trying to appear like they are progressive, and they're just showing the stereotypes where Heartstopper is actively showing what we are actually like. So
I know,
yeah.
it,
Anyway,
and I know it's like I think it's a start for Disney. It's a step in the right direction
I
to even
suppose.
have like references, even if it is stereotypical.
I
Maybe they
suppose.
have to do it that way just to have this like the stereotype, just to show they are actually trying. Because if you're not making it obvious, like subtly obvious, then like you wouldn't know that the person's gay. You know what I mean?
I
They're
suppose.
trying to appease. So I think what they're trying to do is not make it too obvious that they get a lot of churchy, you know, people doing what's called rants against them,
Mm.
but also put in just enough so that the community feels like they're getting some sort of representation.
Okay. Well, I will say this then. Elsa from the Little Mermaid, the
Uh,
characterization of her was based on a drag artist.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So there you go.
But yeah, so that's my 10 cents, if you know what I mean. My
Yeah.
2 cents. It's a 2 cents. It's my 2 cents.
10 cents, two
What's the saying?
cents, whatever.
What is it? Whatever the thing is, it's mine. Um. Anyway, so my next, that was a surprise one. What I'm actually going to talk about now is the new Doctor Strange into the Multiverse of Madness. Now, I'm going to try and stay completely spoiler free for this because I know it's just out. And also, if you haven't seen One Division and if you haven't seen Spider Man No Way Home, then this you'd have to see both of those in order to get what's happening within the storyline of um, Doctor Strange into the Multiverse because it's kind of a continuation from the TV series One Division and the movie Spider-Man No Way Home.
Okay.
Uh, so the movie is actually it's really good in terms of its storyline and the fact that it's kind of like you get to see different sort of the multiverse. So you get to see different realities, different Doctor Stranges, different like worlds and realms, um, and all of them are really quite different from each other and have strange customs or strange things that happen within those worlds. Um, the only thing I'll mention as an example, which isn't really a spoiler, is that in one of the multiverse realms, like traffic signals is like the wrong way around for like pedestrians and stuff like that.
That's
So
going to be
pedestrian
confusing.
crossing, where so pedestrian crossing, we don't go on red, we go on green. In this realm, you you go on red and you don't go on green,
Yeah, that's
which
confusing as hell. But okay.
which uh, which almost got Doctor Strange run over. But uh, but that's one example. Spider Man is not in um, this movie because obviously I'm not taking any spoilers, but you'll know why Spider Man isn't in this one because of the events of Spider Man No Way Home.
Okay.
And that's the reason why Spider Man isn't in this one. But um, the characters like Miss Marvel, I think, is in it. So Miss Marvel. There is Captain Marvel is in it. Captain Marvel's in it. That's like the British one. So
Right.
she's like Captain America. She's
Mm.
got like the shield, except this one is like a Union Jack on it instead of the
Yeah.
Stars and Stripes. So there's Captain Marvel. There, who's the head of the X Men? What's his name? It's Xavier, isn't it?
Charles Xavier, yeah.
Yeah, he's in that. Um,
Is it um, James McAvoy or is it Patrick Stewart or is it somebody else?
it's Patrick Stewart.
Interesting. That that
Uh,
means all of the early X-Men movies are now in the MCU. Awesome.
yeah. So, and who's the one that had? It looks like the character looks like he's got a. There's a reference from the movie. Looks like he's got a fork sticking in his head. that can shatter people just by saying a word.
Is it Banshee?
No, um, Marvel, Marvel superhero in Doctor Strange. Sorry, I'm not prepared for this.
No worries.
Into the multiverse. Um,
I haven't seen this
Doctor
one,
Strange into the
so
multiverse.
I'm not sure which characters they've put into.
Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Let's go to IMDb and I'll be able to tell you exactly who's in it. So, the characters who are top cast. Here we go. So, you've got Doctor Strange, obviously. You've got
Mm-hmm.
Wanda, slash the Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
You've got Wong. You've got uh, so Captain Carter's in it. Black Bolt is in it. Captain Marvel, Reed Richards, Xavier, Clea. So basically, Ultron's in it as well,
Okay.
and yeah, so the Fantastic Four get a mention in it as well. So
Okay. I
so
bet
in
it.
this realm,
I bet it's
the
not
Avengers.
the Fantastic Four of the most recent
I don't
Fantastic. That was an absolute flop. That one.
know. It's I think it's like the original Fantastic Four. But the main thing is the Fantastic Four is now in the MCU.
Interesting. Cool.
Um, and so in that realm, I think in that realm the Avengers don't exist, and it's the Illuminati. Get
Okay.
mentioned. I was thinking, what, the Illuminati? So that's the only thing I'm going to say about that movie. All I'm going to say is watch it. There's surprises. There's I've not mentioned anything about the plot, as such. So there's surprises in it. There's like twists, turns, things you wouldn't expect. It's a really good movie. And at the end, there's a mid-credit scene and there's an end credit scene.
Okay. Good to know.
And
Anything
so
else you
this
want to
makes me
add?
no, not for that particular topic. No.
Okay.
So my last thing I'm going to talk about is the fact that I've got a few visitors discovered. I've got a few visitors living underneath my garden at my house.
As as they can now see, because I've got a video there. I just have it looping, so it should just stay
So
on.
as you can probably see from the video, because I can't, as you can see, I can't see. That's a reference to Rhett and Link, but I can't see what you're seeing because all I'm seeing is the Zoom application Zoom app that I'm using, and I can't see the actual streaming
They can
interface.
they can
But
see the
anyway,
video. They can see the video.
but what you are seeing is the view from the back of my garden through a fence. That's the back of my garden, and it's fox cubs. So you'll be only able to see one of the foxes,
Mm-hmm.
and myself, I've only seen two of them. But obviously, I don't know if there's just two. Likely not. There's likely to be four or five because usually there's a culture of eight, and then because it's wild foxes, two or three don't usually survive. kind of, maybe. 1 and 3 don't survive. So the ones you're seeing is the bolder ones, the ones that are probably males, but it could be a female. But I couldn't get a close enough look to see if it's got a dingly dangly piece or if it's not. And it was too small enough anyway for me to see from that distance, even if they did have a dingly dangly piece. But what it does mean is that I now have fox cubs living at the bottom of my garden, which is something incredible. I feel like privileged. I feel lucky and honored that they feel that my underneath my garden is a safe place for them. And it is a safe place for them because obviously I wouldn't do them any harm. Quite the opposite, in fact. But it's quite nice that I'll be able to, I feel honored and lucky that I'll be able to see them grow up.
Mm-hmm.
And as the weeks go on, I will keep on trying to get more pictures of them, more videos of them, and then
Okay,
bring
cool.
them into the live stream so you can see their progress.
Yep, sure, no problem. Okay, so before we do finish, because that's all of the things that we had planned to talk about, I just want to go back over Heartstopper, and just on a
Okay.
accessibility point of view. Um, Obviously the show you'd be able to watch without any issues, and they do have subtitles for those that would need them. Um, but with the books being graphic novels, um, the size of the um, text is one size. So how would you be able to read those if you did want to? What would you have to
Um,
do?
I might get the audio version and the book alongside it, so I could see the pictures alongside it, and
Right.
then have the audio. It's like what I did with the Christmas Source books.
Okay, cool. I don't know if
Was it the Christmas
there
Source one?
is.
I can't. Yeah, it was one of the books I had to read alongside with the audio version.
I'm not sure whether there is an audio one for Heartstopper. I would have to have a look, cause I do like having the audio book. So that would be awesome. In fact, I might actually look into that now, just to see if there is. So just bear with me. Okay, it doesn't look like there is for Heartstopper, but there is for the other books that have been done by the same author, which are
Like
like
which one?
just
Nick and Charlie.
Yep, Nick and Charlie is like a novella of those characters from Heartstopper, but it's not graphic. It's
No, they
just
do Heartstopper.
did
Audible
they?
has it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That hasn't come up for me, so I'm definitely going to be getting that at some point.
See,
One moment, I need to get back onto where I can see the. I don't think that's the same one. That's not the same.
Laura Laura
No,
Landish.
it's by Alice Oseman.
All right. Okay.
That's completely
Uh,
different. Um, but yeah, I'll have a look and see what ones of hers they do have. And it does look like they only have like the novella type stuff. One of
I think
which,
so. Yeah.
um, Solitaire, I know, is Charlie's sister is the main character, which is great because she's one of my favourite characters from the show. So when I do read that one, it'll be interesting to see things from her point of view rather than Charlie's. Um, and the one which is Nick and Charlie, um, I think is set after the fourth Heartstopper book. So that kind of sucks that there's no accessible way for you to read the graphic novel. Um, but I suppose um, the only option left would be if you really wanted to read it, you would have to have it under like a magnifying glass kind of thing.
Uh, which kind of stuff. I've got a computer. I've got a thing called it's like a specialized screen magnifier type thing. So
Okay,
basically, it's a unit which plugs in via USB, and you place a book underneath it, and then it magnifies it as much times as you want
right.
on the on your screen.
Would it do that with a physical book, or would it have to be
Yeah,
the
no physical books.
e-book?
No, it doesn't do it for an ebook because it's a piece of hardware. So
Right.
it would have to be a physical book.
Okay. That's
So
interesting.
basically what it does is it's quite kind of like really cool how it does it because it it's kind of like scans the page, but doesn't scan the page, but literally is what it does, and puts it into your computer screen,
Right.
and then it magnifies it. So it's like it projects it into your computer.
So there is one way that you could get
Yeah.
around if you really like the show, which I think you might. Um, yeah. Okay, so that's awesome. That's I am so glad that there is some way that you'll be able to get this story. Just it's awful that you haven't had this extra step in yourself, rather than there being a large print one just already out there. But I suppose it's a good
Yeah.
workaround. Have you ever read any graphic novels or mangas through that?
Not through that device, but I have on my computer, like on a ebook, but then zoomed in.
Right.
But I got frustrated having to go like that, on one page.
Yeah, I can imagine. Um, so yeah, there's like potentially two options then, because I think there is a ebook version of Heartstopper. Um, so you could do it that way, but as you said, you'd be forever zooming in and out and moving. Um, so the hardware that you were on about does sound like the better of the two options for you.
Yeah.
I am kind of bummed that there's no audiobook of Heartstopper, but there is for the other things. But like can kind of get why when Heartstopper is a graphic novel and all the other things are more of a traditional medium. Um, but yeah, it's just gonna be awesome to read everything in that world by that author. Um,
Yeah.
it's just a shame that if you were to do the same thing, you're gonna have to add so much more work into it. So I really hope
Uh-huh.
that you do like the show, if nothing else, because then you get a good sense of what the book's gonna be about.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Anyway,
But what was going to? Okay, yeah, go on.
I was gonna say, should we wrap this up now? Because we've
Yeah,
okay. So
it's almost 6 o'clock, seven
yeah,
o'clock anyway.
we're like 10 minutes away from yeah. So um, I don't know whether we're gonna be here next week. Um, everything's up in the air now, so I'll keep you posted as to whether we are going to be live, and it'll be a surprise for the audience if we are. Um, I
Yep. Okay.
don't really feel like doing daily live streams of games and stuff. So if I am live, it's purely for this. Um, yeah, I'm just kind of burnt out somewhat. So that's why I'm like just doing this because I like to spend time talking to you. So yeah. Anyway, we might be here next week. We might not be. Um, yeah. Anyway, so I'm gonna say bye, and of course,
And we hope you had a really good time.